I'm Jenna, so it's nice to meet you guys. Hi, guys. Okay, so I have a question. Have you guys ever had that one bill that feels like it never goes away? Yeah, right? Thank you. Whether it's your car payment or your apartment payment or it's student loan or what gets me is like you go into Ulta, guys wouldn't know this, and they're like, hey, do you want to sign up for this credit card? You'll save 20% today. And I'm like, oh, bet. Yeah, let's do that. And then I sign up for it. And I didn't read that like the interest rate's at like 67%. And so like you go back and you like mean mug everybody. You're like, I'm literally paying your salary and interest rate, just so you know. But I was telling Isaiah the other day, I just want to know what it feels like not to owe anything for a day or for a week. Let's do a week because I think that'd be better. And he's like, you'd get bored. And I said, no, I wouldn't. I would literally go get a pedicure, and then I'd go to an Airbnb in the mountains because I'm from the mountains. And I would turn my phone off, and I'd literally, I would literally just binge watch Netflix. But honestly, wouldn't it be nice not to owe anything? No bills, no emails, no texts. For me, it would be an endless supply of Diet Coke, my heated blanket, and binge watching my shows. But seriously, life can feel like one long list of payments, subscriptions, obligations, and responsibilities. You're paying with your time, your energy, and your peace, constantly swiping that invisible emotional credit card just to keep everything and everyone A-okay. It's like adulthood comes with a subscription you didn't sign up for and automatically renews every month. And you know how when it like you can cancel it, has that like little button? Yeah, it doesn't even come with that. So like you literally just get to keep doing it. But sometimes the money kind isn't the one that like drains you the most. It's actually the mental ones because you have so many mental tabs open in your brain that just continues on a loop. And so, hold on, I moved my screen. In Romans 13, Paul says something interesting about debt. He says, let no debt remain outstanding except continuing debt to love one another. It's like he's saying, okay, go ahead, pay your bills, pay your taxes, return that one Amazon package you actually forgot about in your trunk, because I do that all the time. But there's one thing you're never going to finish off paying, and it's love. I remember there was a season in my life where I was literally running on empty, emotionally, mentally, everything, just depleted and drained. I felt like I was doing all these things for everybody else. I'm like pouring into my kids, and I'm pouring into my husband, and I'm pouring into the students God has like let us shepherd. And I was literally just exhausted. And by the way, if you don't know much about me, I homeschool mine and Isaiah's 4 kiddos. So I homeschool an 8th grader, a 6th grader, a 4th grader, and a 2nd grader. And none of them have ever been to public school, so I've done it from the start. So when I say I'm literally running on empty, I literally mean I haven't had a single thought of my own since 2015. But I remember one day I was sitting at my table and I was teaching fractions to my daughter, Mazani. And I remembered I put my coffee in the microwave. So I went up to grab my coffee. It was the second time I had reheated it. And as I'm getting my coffee out, I hear my boys. They are 7 and 9, Honor and Sovereign. And they're literally having a physical altercation in the living room. If you know them, I'm not even lying. Like they literally will fight physically. So I had to go break them up. I grab my coffee and I go to sit back to teach Mazani her math. And as I'm sitting there, I'm like, when's the last time I've even taken a freaking shower? Like, I have no idea the last time I took a shower, last time I changed my clothes. I'm pretty sure it's the pajamas I had on from the day before. And I'm thinking, like, how am I supposed to love my neighbor? Like, really? Like, this is a commandment? I can't even love the 4 hooligans that run around in my house. I don't know how I'm supposed to love everybody else. But that night, I remember I was talking to God. Some people might call it praying. I call it talking. And I was just telling him, like, God, I have no more love to give. I have nothing left to give anybody. And I got that holy nudge. And you know what I mean? Because nobody checks you like God checks you. And if God hasn't checked you, you might want to reevaluate your life. So I feel like everybody gets checked by God. But what I heard was, that's because you've been trying to love out of what is yours and not what's mine. I'd realized I've been loving people, my kids, my husband, my friends, out of my own little tank of patience. And let's be honest, my tank is tiny. By 10 a.m., after refereeing arguments and answering 57 mom questions, you guys, there's a rule in my house. If you ask me too many questions or say mom too many times, you're done talking to me. I don't want to hear any more questions, and I don't want to hear anyone say mom to me for at least 30 minutes, sometimes until your dad gets home. Because I'm so tapped out. And then honestly, I contemplate prison. Like, I think I could go to prison and fit in. Like, I'm tatted up. I think I could look tough. I mean, I'm not really tough. I think I could look tough. And if I go there, then I don't have to cook food for anybody. I don't have to do anyone's laundry. I just get to be in a cell and nobody talks to me. For some people it might be weird, but I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go. Just kidding. But in all honesty, Paul says the reason love is a debt that never ends is that it's because it's a supply that never runs out. It's not my tiny emotional tank I'm pulling from. It's his, and his supply is endless. See, my love runs out when I'm tired, but his doesn't. My love gets irritated when the dishwasher is loaded wrong for the 10th time in 1 week. But guess what? His stays steady. My love checks the scoreboard. Who's giving to me as much as I'm giving to them? But not him. He just keeps giving. And that's the difference between human love and holy love. Mine depletes, but his overflows. So the call isn't to love harder, it's to stay connected longer. Because the more I'm plugged into him, the more I'm not drained by them. And unfortunately, I think that's where a lot of us lived, drained by them. And when I say them, I mean the outside world. We want to love well. We want to love our family well. We want to love our friends well. We want to love our coworkers well. But sometimes love feels like it's an endless bill we can't keep up with. We start thinking of love like it's a transaction, this invisible thread of Venmo between you and other people. Like, if you treat me right, then I'll treat you right. Translation, I'm offering affection with the same terms and conditions as a 7-day free trial. One wrong move and I'm out. Or how about, I'll forgive you when you apologize first. Basically, I'm emotionally withholding from you until you're the bigger person that can say you're sorry, because I'm not going to. Or I'll text you back once you finally at least acknowledge my last 3 text messages, because that happens all the time. It's as if we've turned relationships into spiritual spreadsheets, constantly checking the balance and making sure we're not overthinking, as if love has a data cap. We start keeping emotional receipts. Well, I texted first last time. Last time I made the plans if we should hang out. Last time we got in an argument, I said I was sorry first. But that's not how love works in God's kingdom. God's not running a cashback program. There's no buy one act of kindness and get a blessing for free. He doesn't match. Hold on. Oh my gosh, Isaiah, I just broke it. It's not working. I got it. Oh, thanks. Okay, I'm going to start back. But that's not how love works in his kingdom. God's not running a cashback program. There's no buy one act of kindness and get a blessing for free. He doesn't match our giving like a divine rewards app. He gives it because it's who he is, not because we earned it. And that's what makes his love so freeing. It's not calculated. It's continual. It doesn't wait for a balance, and it flows from abundance. Because real love doesn't wait for good behavior. It gives it before it's even earned. And if we're honest, half the time we're waiting for people to deserve our love. But Jesus gave us our love before we even knew how to say sorry. Sorry to him, sorry to our family. So yeah, love isn't a transaction. It's more like divine generosity. God just keeps depositing grace into our accounts while we keep pulling out and overdrafting it. That's why Paul connects this right after talking about paying taxes and honor to authority. He's like, yes, go be a good citizen, go do that. But don't miss this. The only ongoing debt you'll carry in this life is love. So turn with me to Romans 13, and as you do, I'm going to be calling this message a loving balance. So Romans 13, verses 7 through 10 say, give what you owe to everyone. If you owe taxes, pay taxes. If revenue, then revenue. If respect, then respect. If honor, then honor. Let no debt remain outstanding, except the continuing debt to love one another. For whoever loves others has fulfilled the law, the commandments. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not murder. You shall not steal, and you shall not covet. And whatever other command there may be are summed up in this one command. Love your neighbor as yourself. Love does no harm to a neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfillment of law. So, when Paul's writing this part of Romans, he's literally writing to Christians who are living smack dab in the Roman Empire and a place where everything revolves around power, politics, and status. He's reminding them, even though they live under this earthly authority, they still belong to a higher one. In verse 7, Paul talks about paying what you owe, taxes, respect, and honor. But then in verse 8, he goes deeper. It's like he's saying, you can check all these boxes and still miss the point. Because there's one thing you never stop owing. Bet you'll never guess what it is. It's love. You see, the world around them was built on transactions. But Paul is inviting believers to live by transformation. Every law, every command, every should, and every must, all of it comes down to one thing: loving people like Jesus does. So really, Paul's saying, do what's right in the world you live in, but don't forget you're part of another one. Love is the only debt that never runs out, and it's the one that shows the world who we belong to. And then Paul finally lands the plane. Love does no harm to a neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfillment of law. Now notice, Paul doesn't say love replaces the law. He says it fulfills it. That's a big difference, so don't miss it. Because when people hear love fulfills the law, we think, oh, well, then I can just do whatever is loving. But that's not what he's saying. That's not what he's saying at all. He's reminding us that real love doesn't erase boundaries. We need those in our life. It gives them purpose. Love isn't freedom from God's commands. It's freedom to live them out. It's the difference between following rules out of pressure or following Jesus with a passion. And this matters. We live in a culture that defines love as accept everything. Do what makes you happy. If you disagree, then you don't like me. If you don't repost my story, then apparently you don't support me. And if I dare say, if I give a little truth of my love, then I'm toxic. But can I be the first to tell you, if no one's ever told you, honesty is not toxicity. We've built a version of love that's basically mixed of emojis, you do you, and a side of trauma dumping. But God doesn't just validate it. But God's love doesn't just validate us. It transforms us. Real love doesn't say, you're fine as you are. No, real love gets down to your level, and it says, you're loved right where you are, but I love you too much to stay where you're at. Listen, love doesn't rewrite truth, it reveals it. Whether we want to admit it or not, most of us have been taught that love means rewriting the rules. That to love someone, you have to agree with everything that they do. You have to affirm every choice that they make and never say anything that might make somebody feel uncomfortable. But that's not biblical love. That's sentimental silence. Love doesn't rewrite truth to make people feel safe. It reveals the truth to help people get free. And freedom is exactly what Jesus came for. When Jesus loved people, he didn't edit God's words to make it easier to hear. He embodied them. Take the woman caught in adultery. He didn't shame her. He wasn't like, hey, Judas, did you hear? Did you hear about her? She is such a slut. Hey, Peter, did you hear? Oh my gosh, that's nasty. Dirty. I'd never touch that. No, he didn't do that. He didn't say, oh, you go do you. I know what you're doing is wrong, but I'm going to turn a blind eye to it because I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable by me correcting you. No, he said, go and sin no more. That's love revealing truth. You got to get this. Love that rewrites truth isn't love. It's deception wrapped in kindness. But because if love tells you you're fine while you're walking towards a cliff, that's not love. That's not compassion. It's cruelty. Real love, the kind Jesus shows, doesn't dodge the truth. It delivers it. It looks someone in the eye and says, I'm for you, but but I won't lie to you. And this generation doesn't need more people who agree with them. It needs someone who's going to anchor them in the truth. Because we live in a world where truth has become optional and feelings are the new gospel. But feelings can't save you. And likes, like on social media, how we post all our things, yeah, that's not going to heal you. Those traumas you're wanting, that hurt you're wanting the likes to fix, it's not going to happen. Validation, it's not going to resurrect you. We've built a culture where my truth replaces his truth. And we wonder why everyone feels lost. When love loses truth, it loses power. Jesus came full of grace and full of truth, but not one or the other. Grace without truth is meaningless. Truth without grace is unbearable. But when you put them together, that's when love becomes transformational. So when I say love doesn't rewrite the truth, it reveals it, I'm saying love doesn't change the standard, it changes us. I want you guys to get that. Don't drop yourself down to anyone's standard because you feel like you have to fit in. That's literally what it's saying. And I'm going to go off script here. I feel like in this day and age, it's really easy to do that. It's really easy to compromise what you know God's called you to do to feel like you fit in. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because your friends, they ain't the ones getting you into heaven. It's God. And God calls you to do things that you know you should be doing. Because when you experience the love of Jesus, it doesn't make you comfortable in your sin. It calls you out of it. It doesn't pat you on the back and say, stay there. No, it pulls you up and it says, come higher. That's the kind of love that changes lives. That's the kind of love this generation needs. And that's the kind of love we're meant to carry. So, what does this mean? Well, as my husband would say, I make suggestions and you make decisions. So this is my suggestion. Wake up every morning owing love, not because people deserve it, but because Jesus gave it. We love our neighbors, not just the nice ones who bake us goods or isn't like a porch pirate and is honest when your Amazon package gets delivered to them, but the ones also who mows their lawn at 6 a.m. on a Saturday. Can I just say that deciding that your peace is more valuable than your petty is so transformational. So you have to realize, I could say what I'm thinking in my mind, but I'm not going to be petty. I am one of the most pettiest people you'll ever meet in your entire life if I allow my flesh to do that. But I've had to learn that no matter what I want to say, no matter what is going through my head, my peace, it surpasses that. It has to, because otherwise it's just chaos. We also have to love the ones who annoy us. That one friend who turns every story into a competition. You guys, I literally can't stand one-uppers. They bother me. Or the group chat where the person's a philosopher and always has to be right. Loving them is like choosing patience instead of mental eye rolls. Because sometimes the most Christian-like thing you can do is turn off their story, but still pray for them. We love our friends when it's hard, when they're distant, defensive, or just going through it. When they don't text back for days and you're tempted to assume, they're different now. Loving them means showing up anyway, sending them thinking of you texts, but not expecting one back. Because friendship isn't about perfect timing. It's about consistent presence. We have to love that coworker who takes credit for everything. The one who repeats the idea louder in the meeting like it was a divine revelation. Loving them might look like biting your tongue, doing your work with integrity, and trusting God to handle the scoreboard. Because at the end of the day, you're not working for them, you're working for him. And we don't do it out of obligation, I guess my verse of the day said I need to do this. This is what Jesus says. No, we do it out of overflow. Because when you really let the Spirit fill you, love stops being something you force and starts being something that flows. It becomes a reflex, a natural response to how your heart has been loved deeply. You don't have to rehearse it or fake it. It just shows up. It's like when you bump your funny bone, you don't have to think what does my funny bone do? No, it just happens. Well, when the Spirit fills you, grace becomes that same reflex. You forgive faster. You speak softer. Serve without scoreboard watching. Not because you're trying harder, but because he's pouring through you. We don't love because we're told to. We love because we can't help it. If you let love lead your thoughts, your tone, your texts, your reactions, you'll find yourself fulfilling the law without even realizing it. So maybe the question isn't, who do I have to love? Maybe it's, who do I owe love to? Imagine what would happen if we actually lived that way. If every day before our feet even hit the ground, we ask God, who do you want me to love today? Who do I owe love to? God's faithful. You ask and he's going to show you. You just have to listen. You just have to watch for it. He'll show you who needs it. And once you do that, you say, okay, I'm going to pay that. If that becomes our mindset, the world starts looking less like a courtroom and more like a home. We stop walking around ready to prove our point and start showing up ready to make space. It would be less about keeping score. Who said sorry first? Who texted back first? Who gave more effort? And more about a covenant. It would be that I'm with you even though this is messy kind of love. And it'd be less about I'll pay you back and more about I'll love you anyway. Because love doesn't keep receipts. It keeps faith. And when that kind of love fills a community, people stop performing and start belonging. That's when the church stops talking about Jesus and actually starts looking like him. Because when people become the culture, because when love becomes a culture, people don't have to fake wholeness to feel welcomed. They don't walk in pretending like everything's fine. They walk in knowing they're safe. No filters, no masks, no auditions. That's when the church stops feeling like a stage and starts feeling like a family room, where grace is louder than the gossip. Do you guys hear that? Grace is louder than gossip because we all have a gossiping problem. People aren't impressed by how holy you act. They're healed by how deeply you love and how deeply you show your love to them. That's the kind of community Jesus envisioned. Not just a crowd that listens to his words, but a family that lives them out. So pay what you owe. Love deeply, live freely, and let your life be the proof that God still fulfills every law he ever wrote. Let's pray. Thank you. God, I just pray for these people today, Lord. I pray that you can show them how to be a vessel that carries your love, Lord, that they feel the love in the spaces that they're in, God, and that you show us every day faithfully who we need to love, who needs to feel your love that day, God. I pray that this week is a blessed week for them, Lord, that going forward, it's amazing for them. God, I just pray that people would feel your presence stronger than the people around's presence, God, that your presence makes the decisions for them, not people's decisions. God, I pray this in your name. Amen. We're going to have prayer partners at the back. So if you need prayer, go find them. Otherwise, come up and worship.